Hey, so this video is about how veganism helped me to express unconditional love. And so, veganism, I mean, because I love animals and I would love to see them not be suffering. I mean, it's been a challenging thing for me, and so it's been hard for a very long time, for many years. It was very hard for me not to condemn the actions of others that were causing suffering. So people who were eating meat, it was hard to not to get past this idea that is directly causing suffering. Yeah, it was hard for me not to judge others for having for not ha- it was hard for me to not judge others for not having come to the same conclusions that I did, because all of the information is freely available. All that you need to do is look it up and you can see what takes place in slaughterhouses and about the relationships of animals and all this kind of stuff. So it was a very challenging thing for me, and one of the most difficult situations that I would find myself in would be at a barbecue. And it wasn't because there would be a lot of dead animals there. It was because the people who were eating those animals, who were eating the meat, didn't care. And so the thing is, it's like, because the way I would look at it was that any animal that is caught and killed or is raised to be killed and then sold as meat suffers. I mean, it's hard. How can that not be a situation where there's suffering? And so then looking at that, it's like, so people who enjoy eating these animals who suffered, then they're essentially enjoying the suffering. You cannot separate the action of suffering from the action of eating. They're very much intertwined with one another, and so to enjoy the suffering of another is sadistic. And so it was like I had this kind of a mindset where I really didn't I found it hard to respect people who were eating meat and not caring and not looking into it. And I kind of looked at people who ate meat in the same way that like a parent looks at a pedophile, where it's like those who take advantage of those who are vulnerable, it strikes a chord with you. There's something sick and disturbing about it, that it's like it's really hard to get past. And and this was a real problem for me because I didn't want to be like that. I mean, just because I love animals, just because I love animals, I don't want to hate human beings at the same time. And so the thing is, so there's a thing called self-righteous indignation, which is like, it's common amongst certain groups of people who are doing something, who are practicing something that they feel is righteous, that they feel that they're on a path that is the correct one. And then therefore, if you're not on this path, then you're not on the path, right? And so then you can, if you're of this sort of an attitude, you see it amongst vegans and you see it amongst people like Christians, where it's just like, it's as if just by following the path that you're on, it gives you the right to kind of look down your nose at other people and be like, and just be like, yeah, well, it's not going to work out for you, kind of deal. And that's a terrible attitude to have. I mean, because then all of a sudden we're judging people, and so what I learned in the process, like it took me 10 years to get over this. Like it's no joke. So, but what I learned was that even though there are things that that I do not agree with that other people are doing, I just made a choice to not let where other people are at get in the way of my ability to have compassion for them and to not hate on people just for being human, because we're kind of, we're brought up in families in a society where these things are the norm, and it takes a bit to rewrite your programming and stuff like that. So it was like I said, it took me a decade to get over it, but when I did, it was the biggest weight taken off my shoulders, because I wasn't carrying around this anger, this frustration, this disgust. And I even recently watched a video of Bashar, who is this channel guy, and so he actually said that we are an omnivorous species, and that some people actually do need animal protein in order to be healthy. And so, like, this was very shocking, to hear it from that individual, because what he says means a lot to me. And so he did say, like, what's important is, like, to eat organic so that you're not taking in toxic substances while you're nourishing your body, to eat, wholesome, minimally processed kind of food, and that, like, as we raise our vibration, we will naturally gravitate towards lighter and lighter forms of sustenance. And I used to really like stuffing my face full of stuff. I used to enjoy the feeling of being, like, heavily satiated by, just sitting back, having, say, smoked weed and drank alcohol and ate pizza and ate something sweet too, like, just really indulged and whatnot. But now all of that stuff, it doesn't really resonate with me anymore, because I enjoy expressing myself, and I like to think clearly, and I like to get up early. So it's like that, it just doesn't make any sense for me anymore, because, and I mean, I think it is a natural thing. Like, we are, we're supposed to grow. We're not supposed to just stay the same always. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to become more refined, sophisticated, it becoming more mature, expanding our awareness. It is sort of the point of life. I mean, we're here going to school, learning some things. I think that, but the thing is, what is it that it's like? So there is this blood type. It tells you something, like it's called the blood type diet. But I mean, just the fact that people who are A blood type seem to do very well with zero animal products in their diet at all. A, B, it's a bit of a mix, and O, some people seem to do well with animal products in their system, or and that's where it could be that they actually are required. And I mean, when I think about it, in yoga, there is this thing to do with the gunas, and it's rajasic, tamasic, and sattvic. And so I fall into this sattvic category. I am an A blood type. I seem to thrive with very light forms of sustenance. This is what I sometimes go on a bit of a journey, but I always come back to, say, like, the fruit and to a raw food diet. And so, and I think that tells you something about, like, what, like, people, we come into this life with a body that is equipped to give us the experience that we need to. And so some people aren't here for all this spiritual mumbo jumbo, and so they don't need to have this, like, super refined, super light diet. Some people are the rajasic people. This is like business people who are very busy bodies. Me, it's like all about meditation and Zen and being very centered and fully present and aware and expanding consciousness, whereas, like, rajasic is about doing things, about making things happen. And I mean, life is important that it's, there are these different elements and we all contribute something differently. So, and then the tamasic is people who are more, they more inclined towards sense pleasures. So sensual things to do with taste and touch and feel and things like that. I mean, and it's important. I mean, if people like me are important, somebody has to talk about all this spiritual stuff, and some people have to have kids, and some people have to run businesses, and all of this stuff. It's all, everybody serves a purpose in this world, and I think it's important, not to form this kind of an idea with I was under the impression for many years that it's like, no, vegan, everybody should be vegan, nobody needs to eat meat in any form whatsoever, right? And so hearing this stuff from Bashar, it really helped to soften that, I don't know what to call it, nonsense that incorrect in yoga is called avidya, knowledge other than right knowledge. I mean, it was, where they say the road to hell was paved with good intentions. I meant the best, but it was incorrect. And so it's nice to know that also, if you do eat meat and animal products, that it's not that you should be vegan. It's not an insistence thing. It is something that you will naturally gravitate towards if that's what's right for you in your life. If you're living this, if on your path to ascension, as you're raising your vibration, you will just naturally make a choice to it, right? So it's you don't have to conform or something like that, and neither do vegans have to condemn and look down their noses, right? So very, very beautiful path, for myself to come full circle with this idea of veganism, and also with unconditional love, because it's there in the word unconditional. You can't let all of these ideas get in your way of your ability to have compassion, or in other words, show love for another person. And just, so it's been good.